Jungkook, your ex-boyfriend, is your new boss. 4 years ago, he broke up with you and left you heartbroken. Now he is back as a rich billionaire, whereas you are struggling financially. So you decided to work for him in order to pay your bills. A detailed video of Jungkook torturing you is pinned in the comment section below. Please take a look. Wyan's point of view. The grey pants I have planned on wearing had a stain and none of my other skirts would go well with my top. The dark grey pants seemed to mock me as I lifted up. It had been years since it was last worn. A few purrs and grunts later, victory was mine. I stared at my reflection in the mirror, thoroughly satisfied with my outfit for the day. Morning, Heather greeted as I placed my bag on my desk. Good morning, is he here in yet? I asked and she shook her head. I sighed contentedly before sitting down. Jungkook arrived a few minutes later along with Lillian, his PA. At noon, Jungkook called for a meeting in one of the boardrooms, the attendees being just he, Heather, Lillian and I. Lillian, what is my schedule for the rest of the week like? You have a charity gala ball Friday night and the tech launch party Saturday night. Will you be accompanying me for the two parties? I will actually be occupied. The ever stern and strict Lillian blushed. Her pale cheeks turned pink, but it became a ghost. What just happened? Ah, of course. Jungkook nodded in understanding. Then Miss Heather will accompany for Friday's gala and Miss Wyan will follow for Saturday's party. I nodded and took the file. A file suddenly fell from my grasp and as I bent down to pick it up, the sound of fabric ripping was heard. My heart stopped. Oh no, I faintly heard Heather in the background. Did my pants just tear? My hand flew to my exposed backside in horror. Ashamed and embarrassed weren't enough to describe my humiliation. Jungkook looked away while Lillian sat still and said nothing. Let's go to the restroom, she said before pulling me forward and blocking my gaping trousers with her body. Was there no end to my suffering? Stay here, I'll get you new pants for you, she said as we entered. Thank you, I said looking down. I felt too embarrassed to even look at her. Soon she was gone. Luckily my bright pink grandma panties covered most of my back, but I still groaned in despair and turned away from the mirror. Why me? Heather returned nearly 30 minutes later with a shopping bag which I gratefully accepted. I changed into the black pants she bought. The situation could have been worse. Instead of 3, it could have been a whole department or even the whole office or live TV. I could have been wearing a dress. Heather and Lillian were females just like me. I bet they had pink panties too. Jungkook, well, he had once upon a time seen a lot more than pink panties. Miss Wyan, you're just in time for the start of a new lesson. Lillian stared at me. I turned to Heather. Thank you very much, Heather. I honestly owe you more than one. It was nothing, she smiled. Let's begin. Our topic today will be galas and balls. How to dress, act and what will be required of you. Once again, you are merely playing security. You are just to accompany Mr. Jeon, take note of the guest, deal with the financial transaction backstage if necessary and ensure everything goes well. Her eyes stopped on me and I became wary of what insult would follow. So any notion of dressing overly pretty and putting on loud makeup should be cancelled. You should look decent of course, but this is not a Cinderella story. The doors to Jungkook's office opened. Miss Wyan, my office. A small pot of shame caught me as our eyes met. Disregarding our past, he did just see my bright pink underwear a few minutes ago. You can sit. He pointed to the couch next to his. Nice pants. He smiled and I sharply glared at him, but he only continued grinning. Did you call me here to mock me? I didn't, he smiled. Take a look at this. He passed me a brown file which I collected. John Holmes. Why did you give me this? I raised the papers. You should move there. It's a staff housing and you're a staff. Your current home is clearly not safe and I need to make sure my staff is safe. I can't, I said, dropping the papers on the coffee table. Why not? Why are you being so nice to me? Stop it. I'm not being nice. I'm merely behaving how any employer would to an employee in need, he shrugged. I'm not in need. I hated the relaxed look on his face. I didn't want to become his charity case. Where was Karma? Why did he have to have the means to help me? Why should he help me now after everything that happened? I hated Jungkook maybe a lot more than I realized. Don't be stubborn, Ryan. At least consider it. I don't want it. Then let me say this as your boss. Take it. His words left no room for arguments. Thank you, sir. I left his office in anger. 4 years ago, Jungkook held my hand and joined our fingers together. His hand was warm. Are you cold? You aren't going to give me your jacket, are you? I narrowed my eyes at him and he chuckled. You should know better by now. He winked before pulling me closer to his side. I leaned into his chest, breathing in his cologne. His fingers gently started playing with my hair. All of a sudden, I really didn't want the night to end. It was silent for a while, and when I looked up, he was already staring down at me. I acted on the feeling. Our lips met till he pulled me nearer, and the pace increased. I didn't think it was possible to feel drowsy from a simple kiss, but I did. I felt very drowsy as our breath and tongues mingled under the dark night sky. I like you, Ryan, a lot. I like you too, I confessed, and he smiled. Suddenly feeling shy, I moved back to where I originally was beside him but smiled as well. Let me get you back to your dorm. Where's your motorcycle? Want to go for a ride? He smirked and I instantly shook my head. He laughed and teased me the whole way to my dorm. The distance was too short and soon we were in front of the dorm. So, good night, I bit my lip. That's no proper good night. He chuckled, then pulled me towards him and we kissed for the second time that night. Present, before the party. Where is the makeover team? Won't you need one of those? I looked around the empty apartment. Not when I have you. You will help me. Me? Yes, you. Come on. I followed him into his room. It was my first time seeing his room. It was huge, probably the size of my whole apartment. Remove everything and set it on that chair. I carefully removed the suit from its packing and set all the different pieces on the chair. When I turned around, I didn't expect to see him shirtless. He had certainly hit the gym more over the years. My eyes watched over his shoulders down to the hard lines of his stomach. Nothing you haven't seen before, he said, snapping me out of my dream. The pants first, he directed, and I quickly handed him the pants that turned back to face a pile of clothes. Ryan, you shameless girl, it's just a man, or one you strongly dislike too. No biggie at all. Shirt. In the same manner, I quickly passed his shirt. Well, you have to help me button it up. I stared at him blankly, but he only stood looking expectant. Was he even for real? You're not a toddler, I grumbled as I inched closer to him. My fingers brushed against his hard chest as I hurriedly buttoned up the white shirt. Tie next. My skin suddenly felt hot, and that was maybe due to the burn of his gaze on me. I pulled the tie up tighter. That was necessary, and he groaned. I grinned till I felt his warm hands held mine. I don't particularly want my cause of death to read tie. I glared at him, and he smiled in return. I am done. I'll deal with the vest, jacket, and shoes myself. You can go down. Okay. Downstairs in front of the mirror, I repacked my hair, made a few minor adjustments, then patted my red cheeks. Are you ready? My gaze shifted from my reflection to Jungkook, who stood about 6 feet away, looking stupidly dashing in his new expensive suit. You have a limo? I said as a sleek black limousine pulled up in front of us. And bodyguards, he added as another car stopped behind the limo and two tall bulky men stepped down. Of course you do. Jungkook and I entered the limo, he at the back while I sat in the front. I'm guessing you didn't prepare anything. I slightly turned, eyeing him confused. No? Jay, please stop at the nearest flower shop. Damn, I was meant to get flowers. The vehicle came to a halt in front of a very dainty flower shop. If I happen to have a date for one of these events, Lillian usually prepares a bouquet of flowers. I quietly nodded. He is taking a rich supermodel as his date tonight, and I'll have to deal with all the drama that will be happening in front of me. Order a bouquet of roses. You still have my card, right? Good evening. Can I get a bouquet of roses? Color? Any. Here you go. Thanks. I collected the bouquet of white roses and paid. To my surprise, Jungkook was leaning against the side of the limo when I walked out. Here, I gave him the bouquet. He stared at it critically, then his gaze turned to me. I don't like the arrangements. Ask for a different arrangement. He handed it back to me. Are you kidding? No, he said dully. You're kidding me. I laughed, although there was nothing humorous about the whole situation. Then get your own flowers yourself, Jungkook. She's your date, not mine. I shoved the flowers back into his chest. How dare he complain about flower arrangements after the last couple of hours I had? Jealous, he mocked as he took hold of the now crumbled flowers. Jealous? I laughed again, this time actually finding humor in his words. The only thing I feel is sad. Sad for the woman who has to endure you throughout the night. The smirk he spotted immediately disappeared. A few moments of silence passed before he wordlessly turned back to the limo, about to go in with the limp flowers. Wait, I sighed. What? Are you going to give your date crumbled white roses? Forget it, let's go, he said, and I rolled my eyes. I'll go get the stupid flowers. I didn't wait for him to say anything. If the guy thought it odd that I was back ordering another bouquet, he didn't say as he handed another to me with a different arrangement. This was a flower shop anyway. I bet they had their fair share of drama from time to time. Outside again, Jungkook was still where I left him. Take it, and if you don't like this arrangement as well, then just go get it yourself, I said as he collected the flowers. A smile appeared on his lips. Was there nothing sent to your email? About? You should check it. You would have known to do all this, he said before opening the door and finally entering. I remained standing and tried to remember when last my email was opened. There it was, 3 days old. From Lillian, Mr. John's likes and dislikes. Gala edition. Damn it. Jungkook's date was everything I have imagined. A tall beauty with soft smile. After arriving, she and Jungkook were led to a table while I slipped away and through the rest of the night stayed by the sidelines. Knowing Lillian, her plan was probably to make me watch something I could never have. Well, the joke was on the both of us. The only way I felt was ridiculous. Ridiculous I had ended up as a PA for my ex and somehow had to stand semi-bodyguard for he and his date at an event. For more videos, please subscribe this channel. Have a great day dear ones. Bye.